Look at this beauty. Boom. Here's a crazy part of this is that this used to actually be a convenience store before the guy that I bought it from actually converted it into a duplex.
My name is Ben Mearson, aka Humble CEO. I escaped communism, I became a refugee, and I landed in Canada. My goal was to become a millionaire by the age of 30, and I did that. I did that through real estate and through focusing on personal development. Join me in my journey to help you do the same thing. Follow me, let's roll.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ben, Humble CEO. Hey, I wanted to kind of show you my very first property that I bought because I actually bought that home off market. And this is going back 12 years ago now. And I wasn't looking for off-market deals, but I was just looking for an opportunity to get in the game. So I was just looking for an opportunity to buy a piece of property, a duplex, a single family, whatever. And I just started networking with people. I just started asking people if they knew anybody who had a property for sale that they would consider, selling and doing it without agents and without commissions. And my first 3 properties that I bought 12 years ago, all of them were off-market. So I didn't actually start buying on the MLS until a few years later, just out of necessity. But I realized that I'd always been buying off market. Even if I wasn't looking for deals specifically, it was always just easier and it was less complex to just find these deals, work directly with the seller and buy the property. So this one on the corner is actually the very first piece of real estate I ever bought. This big old duplex here. Looks a little rough these days, but this is the property that I bought 12 years ago. And interestingly about this property, I actually lived upstairs and I rented out the lower unit. And by the end of my monthly expenses, I was paying about $150 a month to live in this place. But it got me out of living in my parents' basement. So this was the very first place I was able to move into. I was able to really focus on real estate investing. So let's check this property out. It's actually kind of cool because I've bought 4 or 5 properties just in this one little area. And in my town, there's like a very fine line between like a nice, wealthier neighborhood and a less desirable neighborhood. So that was my first property. My third property is actually right around the corner. I bought this place and I renovated it top to bottom. It's right here. This big 2-story brick that my wife and I had bought, and we spent about $60,000 renovating this thing. And man, she loved this home. And when I finally finished the whole thing, I told her, hey, I'm selling this. And she's like, don't you dare. And I was like, it's already up for sale. So the problem is, as a real estate investor, we're always looking to grow and we use our physical assets that we have. So it's interesting. This is kind of the life we live, right? We buy something, we renovate it, we flip it. We use the BRRRR formula that a lot of folks know to get into real estate, flip it and go on to the next one. So I'm gonna flip around here and actually show you the very first property I bought, which is pretty exciting for me because I actually see it every day. I drive by it very frequently on my way to work. And my city being as small as it is, we keep buying in the same cluster over and over again. So the same few neighborhoods where we buy most of our deals. And there's a secret behind that actually. Buying more and more just keeps you in the loop. And the more you have in one pocket area, the faster you can see a trend growing or a trend dying. And by having your eye on the prize all the time, you're able to identify better buying opportunities than somebody who's from out of town or looking for the first time. So it's a good indication. If the market's going up, if you see that there's a lot more demand in the neighborhood, if people are taking better care of the neighborhood, and if the price of homes is going up as well. So let me just pull over here and show you this property. So here's my first place I ever bought. Look at that plywood. Pretty sweet. Dude, that patch up there literally fell off. I'm gonna tell you the story in a minute. Check this out. That patch literally fell off the roof and landed on the sidewalk. And I came out one day, luckily it didn't hit anybody in the head. So I had to literally patch one section of the exterior with stucco because I couldn't find that stone anymore. So that exterior stone, that facade, I mean, it really wasn't held up that well. Look at this beauty. Boom. Here's a crazy part of this is that this used to actually be a convenience store before the guy that I bought it from actually converted it into a duplex. But I don't know if he did the best job putting it together. So this property is interesting because this literally was the first house I ever bought. Let me show you, it's right behind here. Look at this thing. So I lived literally upstairs and I had a tenant downstairs and I was paying $150 a month living there. The crazy part is, like I said at the beginning, is that I bought this completely off market. I literally went out to networking events, started talking to people, and started asking, hey, who's got deals? Who's got deals? Who's got deals? That's part of the secret in being able to get started in real estate, is start having a lot of conversations with people. Find out who knows where the deals are, who knows where the money's at. So this guy said, hey, I've got a deal. You know, I'm looking to sell a property off market, not pay the commissions. Do you want to buy it? So I came by, I looked at the property, needed some work, but I figured I can fix it up. And I did. I literally moved in upstairs. I fixed up the lower unit while I was living there. I rented out the lower unit, and then I was living upstairs for just over 150 bucks a month. And that allowed me to move out. So I remember when this piece actually fell off the building. This is all exterior stone veneer, and this piece up here actually fell down on the sidewalk one day, and it was crazy because I'm glad it didn't hit anybody. So I actually hired somebody to go up and to stucco that ceiling and put it all back together so that there wouldn't be a gaping hole on the side of the building. I replaced the roof, I replaced the windows. That was my window job. That was back when I thought I knew how to do windows. Man, I didn't even cap that one. So you could tell, I literally started with no knowledge. I had no idea what I was doing. I had YouTube, and I just had hustle. I just looked and asked questions and talked to people. So now it's a whole different story. We know how to do work, we know how to flip properties. 12 years ago, we didn't have a clue. We were literally making it up. But the point is that you don't have to know. You just got to take action. You just got to get moving. And as you take action, you'll learn. And as you learn, you'll get better. And as you get better, you'll make progress. And as you make progress, you make cash. So excited for your journey. So this is actually the second property I purchased, also off market, and this was going back 11 years ago. It was the same thing. I found a guy who had a property for sale, like a for sale by owner. I approached him and said, hey, I want to buy this thing. We worked out the terms on this property, and I actually was able to do somewhat of a no money down deal based on all the books and strategies that I learned about. And this was the second property. I literally lived on the main floor, and I rented out the upper half. It was a non-legal duplex, and it's actually pretty cool. I lived here, I had a nice bachelor suite living here, and it was a good time. So this was my second, so I ended up renting the first one out completely, moving into here. So by the time I was living in this property, I had a tenant upstairs and then 2 more tenants at the first duplex. So I literally bird my way into this deal, and I actually did that for the next deal as well. Pretty sweet, eh? So this is the second property I bought. I actually bought this for 126,000 bucks, and I was able to get 100% financing on this thing with no money down. It was actually pretty cool. So 126 grand. I lived in the main floor. I rented out the upper, and I was living here. By the time I rented out the other duplex, I was living here and actually making about 100 or 200 bucks per month, every month. So by this point, I was literally financial independent, retire early. Boom, I was financially free, son. So I ended up painting the whole exterior. We did a whole bunch of work on the inside. It was pretty dated, and it's cool. There actually used to be like a utility building across the street, which they've now completely tore down. And they had a really cool school here, like a grade school, which they now turned into a science center. So this whole area kind of changed over the years. These homes, all of these were going for about 70, 80, 100,000 a few years ago. And it's crazy. They've all come up in value. This thing is now sold a couple different times. Fun fact, I started doing mortgages a couple years ago. This was one of my mortgage deals that I actually mortgaged out and kept the mortgage on this. So this provided me for cash flow. Up until last year, I was making money off this property. Pretty crazy. So it brings me back to something, which is this. If you want to get started in real estate, you got to just start taking action. And even though I've been buying houses off market for the last 12 years, I know that not everybody knows about this stuff because they've never really put forth the effort to learn about it. So what I did was I decided recently to create a company called Lead Ninja and help people do the same thing. Start learning to find these off-market deals, because that's exactly what I did 12 years ago. That's exactly what we do today to grow our business. So in Lead Ninja, we basically help you find off-market deals. We show you, we train you, we give you the tools to find them, and then partner with us to actually put a deal together, close on it, flip it, make money. So if you're looking to get into wholesaling in Canada, you got to check us out at Lead Ninja. And I practice what I preach. And this being the first deal, now your first one might be a little bit nicer looking than this one. But hey, I have no problem showing you this property because this is what started it for me 12 years ago when I had nothing else but a carpet cleaning machine and I was doing janitorial jobs at night. And this is what catapulted me. This is what put me into the real estate game, this one deal. And that's all it takes, folks, is it takes one deal for you to just get started, to take action, and to start changing your financial future. These days, I look at it and I still love this little property. Even though it looks like it's run down and it's falling apart and somebody else bought it and it's been sold 3 or 4 times since I had it. but it reminds me of where I started from. And I realized that all you got to do is just get started. So if you've never done anything in real estate, just get started. Just check out leadninja.ca, connect with us, see if it's the right move for you, and learn how to find value in a hot market or in a cold market. It doesn't matter. I bought this just before the 2008 recession, and this thing really didn't even drop that much because it's a duplex. It's a cash flow producing asset. So there was always somebody who wanted to buy this property. And the person that I sold it to enjoyed it for a couple years. They made cash flow, they sold it again, and it just sold again recently. So real estate's gonna keep moving, people. All you gotta do is get yours, get involved, find an opportunity, find somebody to connect with that knows, just like when I found that mortgage broker that I bought it from, who knew how to get me involved. I'm that guy for you. I know how to get you involved. So join us at Lead Ninja. We're excited for you, and let's start your real estate journey. Peace. I'm gonna check out my crib.
Thanks for checking out my video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel so I know to keep making these videos for you. Follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Humble CEO. And visit my website at www.humble.ceo for more content, wholesale real estate opportunities, blogs, speaking engagements, and so much more. Stay humble.